Once again, first up, Jeb Bush. For the fourth day in a row, he gave an answer about the invasion of Iraq. As they say in Kenny Bunkport, sometimes the fourth time's the charm. Here's John Ellis Bush today in Tempe, Arizona.
If we're all supposed to answer hypothetical questions, knowing what we know now, what would you have done? I would have not engaged. I would not have gone into Iraq. That's not to say that the world is safer because Saddam Hussein is gone. It is significantly safer. That's not to say that there was a courageous effort to bring about a surge that created stability in Iraq. All of that is true, and that's not to say that the men and women that have served in uniform and many others that went to Iraq to serve did so certainly honorably. But we've answered the question now. So now, going forward, what's the role of America going forward?
So, John, does that answer, the fourth one, put to rest this flap for Jeb Bush?
Wow. No. I mean, he made a concerted effort to put it to rest. But first of all, let's just pause for a moment on the horrific nature of the performance there. The chippiness at the beginning and the obvious irritation throughout it, right? Not handling that in a gracious, composed, cool, calm, collected way. Secondly, the thing that he alludes to in that answer, and that Mike Bender, our colleague, asked him about, was the war worth it? He just says, yes, the war was worth it. Even so, he's cleared up the question about whether he would have gone in if he'd known that there were no chemical weapons or no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. But he still is arguing that in the end the war was worth it. That is not a winning place to be when it comes to the Iraq war.
Here's my three-layered answer. On the one hand, he's put this behind him a little bit, which is to say I think a lot of people will stop asking about it. On the other hand, he has unsettled donors, yes, senior Republican Party elected officials, and Republican strategists who've looked at this entire week and said, he's rusty, he's not prepared, he can't handle the family dynamic, which is his bigger vulnerability, and his staff is not serving him well. On the other hand, he's learning this early. He's a smart guy. I think they'll probably figure out they need to prepare him better than they did for this week.
Well, but I do think that unsettling is deep. This was a B candidate this week. This was not the front runner. This was not an A candidate. This is not someone who could beat Hillary Clinton in terms of the level of preparation, the response,
readiness,
or again, in the quality of that answer. I mean, again, if I watch that answer, I might optimistically say you're right. No one will. He might not get asked about it again. But I wouldn't look at that answer and say that is a guy who is ready for the big stage in the way he handled, the way he answered it, even in trying to button it up.
I have been impressed with him since December when he started flirting with running, at how he's been Zen-like and kept his cool. That is not a presidential answer. It's not just not a quality presidential candidate answer. The tone of that thing. He's clearly frustrated. The syntax was all garbled.
Aggrieved.
Yeah.
Aggrieved at being asked about this basic fundamental thing.
And if his position is that the war was worth fighting, he's going to be on the wrong side of a lot of public opinion. It is the position of some people in his party.
Yes, like Dick Cheney, which is not, I think, where you want to be if you're going to win, as he hopes to win, a sound majority of the American electorate on Election Day in November of 2016.
I'm not saying this will be our lead tomorrow, but this might be our lead tomorrow.
Wow.